Hey, welcome back to the job site. This is my third video documenting the process of the addition that I built on my home. And in this video, I'm going to be primarily focusing on plumbing. I literally spent several weeks on my days off in the crawl space running out heating, water, and waste lines. But for the purposes of this video, we're going to try to crunch this down into a handful of minutes to kind of get a rough idea of all the fun I had in my incredibly cold, cramped, and dark crawl space. Yeah, we all do it. We get into a tight space, we do work above our heads, and we completely forget our eye protection. I'm pretty sure I lodged enough dust and dirt in my eyes to choke a wood chipper. Good times. Yep, I tried to cram the wrong fitting into my heating line. Hey, it happens. When you're on your back in a dusty crawl space, trying to gain control over a floppy pipe that has no intention on playing nice, I'm not gonna lie, but the mind kind of wants to just resort to dirty words and lots of violence. Thankfully, my background music muffled most of that out. So here we have the waste lines. I kind of put this in the video a little backwards. And in all reality, you want to install the waste lines prior to your water and heating lines because they're just bigger and it's a lot easier to move your water lines and your radiant heat lines, all the PEX lines, around the larger PVC waste lines. So I guess the moral of the story here is basically water lines first, waste lines last. Now, you might be asking yourself, Bob, didn't you just say waste lines first, water lines second? Well, yeah, I did. But in this case, this particular waste line was an afterthought. It was one of those things where I was trying to figure out where I wanted everything to go upstairs in the basic layout of the addition. So this particular waste line was, well, just that. It was an afterthought. After several weeks and countless hours of being stuck in a tight crawl space, well, you're gonna start talking to yourself. So I'm prepping my radiators right now in order to dry fit them so that I can mark out for plumbing. I know this seems a little out of place because the radiators aren't really installed until after the addition is sheetrocked, spackled, and painted, but it's really important to do this step now in the process of the construction so that I can figure out where I'm going to drill my holes for my heating lines to come up through the floor and meet my radiators later on. So it's a little cold in the addition today, and as you can hear in the background, I have the propane heater going. I'm using my torch to heat the copper joints just enough that it makes it a little easier to accept the flux prior to sweating the joints. Also, I hit the tub of flux with some fire for a second just to loosen it up. It makes it just a little easier to work with. Now, I'll be the first to admit that I am no master at sweating joints, but I'm confident and proficient enough that although it's not the prettiest job in the world, it certainly gets the job done. But one thing that's important to remember when sweating a joint is to place the source of your heat, in this case it's the flame of my torch, in the area of your joint that you want the solder to travel to. So the flux that's placed on the joint prior to sweating allows that solder to flow smoothly and evenly down the pipe and towards the source of the heat, filling every last bit of the joint and making it watertight. Patience is the key here. Relax, take your time. Get the copper up to heat and then let the solder do its work. At the end of the day, it doesn't have to look pretty. It just needs to do its job and make a watertight seal. Hello, girls. Hello, ladies. How we doing? Hello. Hello. Treats, treats. Worms. So that's pretty much all there is to it. Install a few water and heating lines, a couple of waste lines, and even get some baseboard heaters dry fit and ready for future installation. But don't worry, it's not finished yet. There's plenty more where this came from. So do me a solid, and if you enjoyed the video, give it a like, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you back on the job site.